How to use writing to become more articulate. Now in this video, this is kind of like a counterpart to an earlier video that I did on how to be more articulate in writing. Because some of you who are listening to this, maybe you find yourself better when you are speaking, like me, right? I am definitely more articulate when it comes to speaking on stage, when it comes to presenting on video or presenting in person. My strengths are in speaking, communication, and articulation. But some of you find that maybe you are listening to this and you find that you're better when it comes to writing, right? Because when you're writing, you can edit it. You can think hard about what the words you want to say, and then you can delete it and edit it. And so therefore your writing comes out as a masterpiece, right? So in this video, what I want to share with you is how, if you have that strength of writing, how you can use that writing piece of it to leverage your writing prowess to become more articulate when it comes to speaking. And I'm going to share with you a very simple process, step by step, that you can take to leverage one skill to improve your other one. So let's go for a walk. It's a beautiful day outside. Let's go for a walk and I'll share with you my process. By the way, in my haste to get going and get walking, I forgot to share with you the video that I was referring to earlier on being more articulate in writing. If you haven't watched that already, it is going to be right here. There's going to be a link above, just on the top of this video. Just click that link and you can do it now or later. And that video talked about how to become more articulate in writing. Okay, let's go now. So this is a 4-step strategy on how you can use your writing prowess to improve your articulation. Step number 1 is to retrieve your written masterpiece. Pick something that you have written and that you're proud of, that you know is your most articulate piece when it comes to writing. Pick that writing, retrieve it. Have it in front of you and ask yourself, why was this particular written piece so articulate? Was it the organization of your thoughts? Was it that you had absolute crystal clarity on who you were writing for? Was it the quality of the way you described your information, the way you described the things that created and painted word pictures in your readers' minds? What was it that made this piece so articulate? And how was it received by your audience? So what you're doing is you're beginning the process of reverse engineering your success when it came to being articulate in writing. So that's the first step, retrieve that written masterpiece. Step number 2, reflect on your thinking behind the masterpiece. Chances are, whenever you commit to a certain task and you do the task well, in this case it is the writing, you've done the writing well, there was a thought process behind it. So think about, what was the thinking behind it? What was your thought process? How did you come up with that information? How did you come up with how to organize that information? What was your delivery process? Right? What were the step-by-step thoughts that you took to be able to articulate so clearly in that written masterpiece? The thinking behind it. Get back into your state that you were in when the moment you sat down and began planning the masterpiece, and when you began writing your first draft and editing that first draft and also finalizing the final draft. What was the thought process, the thinking behind it? Because whenever you want to be successful and you see someone else who is successful, one of the most important things you can do to model someone else's success is to understand their thought process behind it, their thinking behind it. And when you understand their thought process, it's not just about the steps they took to get there. It's about what is the mindset they had? What was their approach to that task? How far in advance did they plan towards it, right? And all of these things combined make up your thinking process, the thoughts behind it, right? So then that's the first step. The first step is to retrieve that masterpiece. The second step is to think about the thought process behind it. Step number 3, recite your piece as though it were a conversation. This is when you just literally, you read it out loud. And you read it out loud as though you were in a speech or maybe in a presentation or a conversation about it. So read it, recite it. And as you are reciting it, ask yourself, is this how you would talk? Is this you? Does it feel awkward? Does it feel authentic? Are you tripping up over certain words or certain sections of your written piece? When you do this to your written masterpieces, eventually what's going to happen is that on a subconscious level, you're going to take your written process, because now you understand the thought behind it and the organization, what made it so articulate. And then now you are translating it into speech. You're translating it into speaking and articulation when you recite it. So in what areas, as you're reciting it, were you tripping up? In what areas do you realize that that's not really how you speak? Then all you have to do is make that translation. And then the thought process will be complete in terms of using your writing, the skills that you have in there, and translate it to speaking. Because at some point, you have to speak what you have written. And then subconsciously, you'll make that transition. Step number 4 is to repurpose your piece as a conversation. Oftentimes when we are creating content, right, especially for influencers, for business owners and entrepreneurs, anytime we create content across YouTube, across Facebook, Instagram, all these different platforms, we only have so many hours in the day. So what we normally do is we repurpose content that we have created for one platform and we repurpose it on a different platform. So this applies to you as well. Now you have your written piece. Right? You started reciting it. You started to really reflect on your thought process. You've retrieved which one you want to translate. You want to start that unconscious process, that subconscious process on speaking it as articulate as you have written it. So now it's time to repurpose it. Maybe you have published this written piece already. Others have read it. Maybe it is being sold on the shelves, right? Now you want to repurpose it as a speech, as a presentation, or maybe as a video. So this is your opportunity to understand now, readjust it to what is the platform that I'm going to be speaking on? Who is my audience? Where are they going to find out about me? And what are the issues or the problems they're trying to solve that they are going to want to listen to me? So when you repurpose your content, right, it's always being mindful and having that clarity on what is the platform, this new platform now, because the platform that you had when you were articulate in writing, the platform that people found out about it and are consuming your written content is going to be different from the platform that your audience is going to consume your spoken content. So you must have that understanding of who is the audience now and to create the right message to that market. Right, so I want to hear from you. Comment below. Which technique, which step was your favorite, and which one are you going to implement right away? And share with me, right? Do you find yourself more articulate when it comes to writing or when it comes to speaking? So I want to hear from you. Comment below. And again, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, ring that bell, and I look forward to hanging out with you in my next video.